When I was in my late teens to early 20s, I found myself in this constant cycle of crying out to God to be closer to Him, wanting more of Him in my life, and yet feeling a lack of His presence. I now realize that I was only seeking Him during really desperate times in my life and on Sunday morning when I remembered that He existed. I would go through these long weeks and months and years even of depression and anxiety. Then come literally every Sunday morning, I would remember like, oh, God is an option. Why am I not filling my weeks with more of Him? I didn't realize at the time the oxymorons that I held not only in my spirit, but in my daily life. On one hand, I was crying out to be closer to God, but on the other, I was in relationships and situations that continued to draw me further from Him. I wanted to hear God's voice in my life, but the last time I opened my word was on Sunday morning, and technically the pastor did that for me. I also don't want to come across as if this is a struggle in the distant past. Now that I'm 30, I've arrived, and I have the most closest relationship with God. Actually, what inspired this video is realizing that I have found myself in a very similar position as I was in my early 20s, where although I'm not struggling with depression and anxiety in the way that I once was, there is a closeness that I want to be with the Lord. However, my lifestyle may not reflect those desires. We are currently moving, which means our entire lives are being turned upside down with decluttering, packing, organizing, and I'm also 18 weeks pregnant, which means I feel like I've been drugged with NyQuil 24/7. And as we are going into this season, I feel like it leaves a lot of room for introspection. But speaking of moving, I need to go make some donuts for the people that are helping us move. So you would think that after I've matured in my faith and realized that seeking Jesus and His kingdom above all else is the most crucial part of existence, that I would have gotten it together and lived happily ever after, but that's just not real life. I will say that maturity has brought a significant amount of growth. When I'm stressed, feeling overwhelmed, sad, or depressed, Jesus is the first person I turn to instead of an afterthought. I've made Jesus my best friend, and instead of prayer being my last resort, it's now my go-to. Prioritizing worship and my time with Him has drastically changed the course of my life, and my life has significantly improved since making those changes. Now, that brings me to today, where lately I have been realizing something. Lately, I have been desiring more of God's voice and presence in my life. However, in every spare moment that I have, I feel like I'm shoving a book in my ears or in my face. In the month of August alone, I think I've read like 5 or 6 books, which go me. But if I am desiring more of something, but I'm not making space and time for it, in reality, it's just not gonna happen. It's like if I tell a friend I want to see them more, but I literally do nothing to rearrange my life in order to make that happen, it's not going to happen. If I am telling God that I want more of Him, but I'm filling every free moment, every quiet moment that I have with a book or a YouTube video, then making that happen is going to be nearly impossible. If I look a hot mess, it's because I am. I'm so tired. We have been moving all day, mainly Tyler and friends, but that means I've had the boys just chasing them around. We are in the new place, tour coming soon. We've been surviving on donuts, which I don't know if I showed you them when they first came out. They're not as fresh now, obviously, but they are what we have been living on. Good morning. Welcome to phase 2 of moving. We are going to be trying to unpack everything today. In these days, I need the Lord's presence now more than ever. Not even so much for me, but for my children. I need His help getting through this season where the noise level of my children is constantly in the red, just way past my threshold at any given moment. Good morning. It is a new day. We had a great night last night. The boys slept all the way through the night. Augie didn't wake up till 7 a.m., which has actually never happened except when we were in Thailand. I slept until 7 a.m., which hasn't happened since maybe Thailand. So we're having a great start to this morning. I actually have a real breakfast to eat. It's going great. Today's going great. I think it might be the last day of unpacking. I'm constantly overwhelmed with the realities of pregnancy, but wanting to be present and joyful for my kids, but not constantly stressed out and snappy. I can't do that without more of the Lord. And don't get me wrong, I'm constantly praying. I'm always sending up an SOS prayer or just talking to God throughout the day because He really is my best friend. But there's this new level unlocked where I just need more, and I'm realizing that's not going to come if I can't learn to be still, embrace the silent moments, and fill them with more of Him instead of the latest books on my TBR. So everything I'm saying is not to say that we can never watch a YouTube video or listen to an audiobook again. No, I'm pretty sure I listened to many YouTube videos and audiobooks while I was unpacking throughout this video. But I do think we have to assess the season of life that we're in and the goals that we have, especially when it comes to our relationship with the Lord, and see if our lifestyle is in alignment with those goals. If we want change in our life and we desire something different and yet we don't do anything different with our life, then it's just not going to happen. It's not going to magically happen that way. So this is also not to make you feel shameful if you are a binge watcher like 99% of the population. I'm especially not trying to make you feel bad because literally people go to school for years and years, get doctorate degrees in learning how to properly distract the population. People study this. This is a psychology. And so if you've fallen for it, it literally almost was against your will. Like it is an industry that people have made millions, billions, trillions of dollars on. And I think the purpose of this video is, one, talking to my younger self who was definitely yearning for more of the Lord, but just continuously falling for the distractions and the traps that the enemy sets and not being aware of it. Like I felt like having the desire was enough, and telling God my desire to be close to Him was there. But later, looking back, I realized just having the desire and telling God your desire is not enough. Sometimes you actually do have to make the changes. So this is for anyone who may be in a similar season, because I, like I mentioned, am currently again in that season of I need more of God. I actually need more of Him, but I realize that there are moments throughout my day where I could be turning to Him, where I could be opening my word or putting on worship music or praying or just being silent and still and listening for His voice. And yet I just want to be distracted. I just want to put on a video, just want to turn off my brain and not think for a moment. And so, yeah, if I continue down that route, then I highly doubt what I want to see in my relationship with the Lord would actually happen. The word for this season for me, I think, is to abide and to be still and to just dwell in the presence of the Lord. And yet I can't do that if I'm constantly in another world, in another realm of fiction, you know? So yeah, I think we do have to learn rhythms of grace with ourselves and understanding, like, okay, we're not robots. We can't just produce and produce and produce the fruit that we want to see, but also not letting ourselves off the hook every time, you know, have had an overwhelming day or whatever the case may be. But yeah, once we learn the balance and the rhythms of grace and truth, I think we will start to see the fruit from our relationships with God, our relationship with God that we want. In this day and age, distraction is, I feel like, the #1 game of the enemy. It's the highest trap that he has set, especially for like our generation, this millennial well, to be honest, I really don't think at this point, I think everyone's just fallen for it. So yeah, I think it is such a high priority of the enemy, and as believers, as children of God, as women of God, I feel like our job is to be drawing closer and not farther away, to be doing everything we can to be sanctified in Him instead of, you know, binging shows and allowing that to take up what fills our mind and what we're meditating on, if that makes sense. But I digress. Let me know your questions, comments, concerns. What do you think about this topic? What have you been learning about this? I know I cannot be the only one who is in this repetitive cycle of like deleting Instagram for a month or getting off TikTok indefinitely because you're just so easily distracted by it. I can't be the only one. So if I'm not, please let me know in the comments. And if you have any tips or tricks that work for you in your life, please let me know. Anyway, thank you for watching. I think I plan to be uploading twice a week. Don't hold me to it, because I definitely don't necessarily have the time, but there are different ideas I have for other videos and different topics that I want to do, but they don't necessarily fall into my normal like vlog style Sunday upload. So I may just try out a Wednesday upload here or there. We'll see, who knows. But anyway, again, thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, you're my bestie. We're friends. This is we're here. Thank you. Love you. Bye.